Thank you very much, Ahmed. The beauty of digital technology is such that I'm able to say good morning to those of us in the Western Hemisphere and good afternoon to our colleagues in the Middle East or the Asian Hemisphere participating in this seminar. So good morning and good afternoon to all of you. I'd like to welcome you to the Regulators discussion, Rethinking Governance to Support Transformation. And I'd like to start by thanking all the distinguished speakers and panelists this morning in the way that all the topics seamlessly tied into one area of focus and retaining the same level of focus, basically putting the customer at the focus of this customer journey, if we can call it a journey. So if I had to synthesize this morning's focus, and this is where I'd like to tie to regulation, if I had to synthesize this morning's focus, the take-home points would be that digital transformation, of course, is not about so much about competitive edge. Digital integration is more about survival nowadays. Insurance companies are changing so that they remain relevant in today's marketplace. And no matter how digitally advanced we are or how agile a company is, the customer has to be at the core or at the center of whatever we do. We have heard the same mantra in practically all the sessions today, that basically the ultimate objective is that our customers' expectations being met, basically. Our customers' expectations being met. And this ties us in neatly with the regulation side of things, because at the very core, at the very fundamental level of all regulators is also the customer's expectations, but with a slightly different slant. What the regulator says normally is, are customers protected? Whatever the innovation, whatever the product, at the end of the day, are customers protected? We have with us Mr. Ahmed, Mamari, Ms. Elham, Taleb, and Ms. Hamda, Almenhali, and I'll be directing a few questions to them. With digital technology, of course, we're encompassing many areas. It has many faces, and within this universe, of course, we're looking at the Internet of Things, AI, chatbots with their opportunities in new products and service, software as a service, SaaS, which is highly topical, especially in the reg tech, in the regulation area, anti-fraud, AML, CFTs, and so on. Telematics, distribution ledger technology, blockchain, of course, insurtech, driverless cars, and cloud computing. But within this whole universe, besides the opportunities, we also, of course, have a number of risks: security breaches, fidelity, cybercrime, human error, whatever. And behind all of this, we have insurance regulation, which of course needs to ultimately safeguard the insurance client and protect the insurance client. So my first set of questions will be directed at Mr. Ahmed Al-Mamari, keeping more of a Sultanate of Oman focus. What is digital transformation in insurance? And from an Omani perspective, why do you see this as a must?
Thank you, James, and good morning, good evening to everybody here today as you started. And thank you for that great question also. I think firstly, in Oman, similar to other countries, especially in Gulf countries, we need to understand what do we mean by digital transformation in insurance industry and why it become a must. One of the things, as you said, and that's what I'm trying to emphasize nowadays, is the role of policyholders. And then I will try to emphasize that the importance of the change that we are facing from the external, from those who are outside the traditional industry. And last but not least is the needed for trust and the role of regulators on that. For example, what is common things about all of these things, the insurtechs and digital transformation, all of these stuff that you explain clearly, just now, is about the customer themselves. That's why the innovators are responding to that fact, because the most of the policyholders, they are ready to transfer to another insurer if they can get more personalized service elsewhere. That's a pretty alarming fact, considering that the number one things with the customer is to receive or to get the reliable, easy reach and use service with fair fit prices. And no one can do that better than new, high, sophisticated technology. Therefore, digital transformation become a must and become a top priority. And this is going to have a far-reaching impact across the industry. Also, what we have seen on the industry with digital transformation is not about technology alone, but it's a lot also about the processing and culture, and somehow it's cultural change. And as a regulator, we need to be aware of that. So everything is about the customer, and our role as a regulator is to protect the policyholders. So any change in the traditional way of doing business in insurance, where it is moving more and more to new technology, we need to make sure also that the new technology provided the trust and the confidence to the industry through protecting the policyholders. The other things that I would like to add also is the new startups. It challenges in a very different way the fundamental role of doing business in insurance industry. For example, they are asking themselves, what if the agent can become a super intelligent agent, Superman, who can provide a service 24 hours, 7 days in your pocket at any time? This is a fundamental change of doing business in insurance, honestly, isn't it? And there are so many examples like that. So this motivated us, is not only the industry, but us as a regulator to be ready for that change also. Um, uh, uh, and I would like here to remind ourselves, all of ourselves, today why we are here. We are here to understand also that the insurance service is a not intangible product that you can test it, see it, or try it. It is a service, is a promises. So everything is about the trust. And so with this new digital transformation, we need to maintain the trustiness. And this is our responsibility with close cooperation with the private sectors. Because what will make any person to buy promises or insurance product from company where he have totally no idea about the financial situation of that company? The only things what motivated him to do so or to do that is his trust and confidence on the regulatory body, on the regulators. So that's why, since there are a dramatic change and disruption on the how doing the business in insurance, we need to maintain that trustiness and confidence on the industry. And that's what it will require a huge effort from the regulatory body and from the private sectors to keep or to understand that the center of heart is the customer protection. However, we need to be aware as regulators. We need to balance between the relaxing our regulation in a way that motivating the innovation within the industry and also protecting the customer. In Oman, since you asked me about the Oman, what we are doing now, we are reviewing our regulations, and we start that by drafting new strategies for the digital transformation, comprehensive one. We try firstly to understand these new cultures. It's not only about regulation, it's about the processing, regulations, supervisions. We'll do dramatic change. So based on that, and through consulting later with the private sector and with the private player in the industry, we will draft regulations, our regulation on that. However, what is needed also from our part, and this is what should be in our strategy, is to adapt ourselves for the digital transformation through the RIG technology or RIGTech. to cope with that change, we need also to cope with the speed and quick development within the industry. And we need such technology that helping us to supervise, monitors, and auditing the private sector. So area like data analytics, or where we use the learning machine or artificial intelligence, or at least those stuffs need to be implemented. However, we need firstly to start our infrastructure, where we need to focus at the initial stakes in Oman and some countries similar to our country on building infrastructure. And infrastructure is not only what I have mentioned before, the regulation, but it's the IT infrastructure. We need to ensure that we have the technology and knowledge and culture of big data, open data, sophisticated enough fair system within the layer of insurance companies. All of this stuff will help us to move on in near future for more sophisticated digital transformation.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. One other question. In March last year, the Sultanate of Oman hosted the Middle East Healthcare Insurance, as a very nice catchphrase, actually, high-tech, high-touch health insurance, and the pull of investing in healthcare, health tech, and insure tech. So within this ambit, and not just focusing on healthcare, which classes of business are insurtech products being rolled out in the Middle East? Where do you see the focus going of the companies in these areas?
Firstly, let me comment about the titles or the theme of that conference. Okay, now and somehow now talking about the fintech and insurtech, it's become like a new fashion. People, they like it, they talk a lot about it. But what is important, how to be implemented in the real life, you know. So that's why we have to focus on the infrastructures, better understanding with us as a regulatory body and the private sectors, and also building our capacity, human resources and IT technology there. Now, going back to your question about where we have seen the companies is moving on, we haven't seen much from our companies yet, honestly. But I think a lot of something is happening. And I do believe the external disruptor and startups will motivate the traditional player to change their mindset and cope and react and adapt themselves for this change. This is one. Two, I can't blame only the private sectors, because also as a regulator we are blamed. And we need to adapt ourselves also by facilitating the innovation and the digital transformation. And that's why we are working in new strategies and new regulations and something like sandbox that need to be implemented here. So we need to be ready for that. We need to cooperate together for that. Last but not least, what we have seen from international experience, that the health insurance gain a lot of attention from the investors and from the insurtech. For example, in USA, it's around 70% of the investment in insurtech went for the health insurance. And good examples that we can gain from about the insurtech, we can find it clearly in health insurance, because the beauty of health insurance, we are talking about two important, unique systems. One is the health insurance, and the other one, which is associated with it, is the health itself. So health also is extremely sophisticated nowadays with technology. And we have seen a huge change in health technology now that's aligned with the insurance, especially that insurance, they can be a good funder for the health service. And they can benefit out of that for the new technology, for the health and for the insurance. And this is what is expected in Oman. That's why nowadays we are investing a lot on the health technology and in health insurance technology. And recently we signed a a contract of building a new platform for health insurance in Oman. We call it Mamari, where we are going to integrate it, all the related parties and health provider, insurance provider, TBA, and so on one platform. And this will help us to build the big database and then to move on more APIs and any kind of digital technology that can be added to it.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'll summarize and synthesize the points from the three speakers at the end. And our the next panelist I'd like to invite with some questions is Ms. Hamda Almenhali from the UAE Insurance Authority. In July of last year, His Excellency Sultan bin Saeed Al Mansouri, who is the Minister of Economy and Chairman of the Insurance Authority, announced the launch of the digital insurance platform. The main objectives of this development of the digital platform were to develop and enhance the control and the supervision system of the insurance sector in the UAE. And of course, as well, heading the digital transformation in accordance with international practices. So my questions to Ms. Almenhali are, please, to elaborate on the progress of the project since last year and the opportunities that the authority sees for the UAE market from the implementation of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James. And thank you everybody for hosting us today. As an IA regulator here in the UAE, as you know, we have the e-form to collect the reporter from the insurance company and other related profession. And it's an Excel way. And the word is development, and we saw that we need a platform, and we start thinking about a big development platform. So we started developing the platform, which is a financial reporting database and management information system, which simplify the process of the financial reporting for all insurance company, brokers, and other related profession. The process, it will help in decision making. The financial statement will be secure and then will match all the KPIs for the management, and it will be faster and easier. This platform using the AI, using machine learning, using the Internet of Things, and also using the blockchain and the big data. The platform, it has not only from financial side, it has also the AML side. It has the AML side, it has the other regulator side, the supervision, the inspection, and it's collect all the data from the insurance company and the related profession. Also, we had another project. It's a sub-project from the DSP. It's the transaction data. We have all the information. It will collect the information for all policies, the premium, the claims, and also this will be collected, inshallah, soon. It will be done with this project, and we will have the data for all the policy. Every policy have been going from UAE. It will be in the system, and this system will help the insurance company, and it will help the other regulatory in the UAE, so that they can get the information. So like the health authority, they need the information for the health policy. And this system will help all of us to gather the information. Also, the system will encourage the insurance company, other profession, to improve their department IT. Since they are a small company, they have not good department, IT department. So this project will help them to improve and encourage themselves to have a good IT department. Also, this project will increase the customer happiness, since when after they collecting, they will have a good pricing. Not each company have its own pricing. Also, this will help making support decision making, and they will get rid of the Excel sheet. That's the main objective. And also it helps us as an insurance authority to finalize or analyze the data and monitoring them to get better information and to get better solvency reports. And for the other question, it's can you repeat it again, Mr. James?
Sure. So, to what extent is the insurance market also engaged in this project? Is the UAE authority working on this as an authority and it will then share it with the market, or is the market input, is the market sharing in this project?
Yes, the market, they have elaborate in this project. So they have, it's going back between us and the market, also another, the company who is creating this project. And it's starting from the last year, 2019 up to now, and it will be continuous project. It will not end because there is many things coming and developing things that. And the market are really happy about this project because it's helped them to improve themselves, and they get a better information about them, about their financial statement. Also, the shareholders in the company, they can access from a different side. They can see the financial statement from a different side, and they can make a decision.
Thank you very much. What sort of timeline are you looking at for this, Hamda? When do you think we'll see the finalization of this project and the rolling out to the market?
The market are already using the platform right now. Some of the company, insurance company, they are already using the platform, and also for the AML side and the compliance side, they are using. We are now in the final step, which is the transaction data.
It's very, very interesting in terms of the progress on this project and the way it integrates the whole project. And again, there were some take-home points there which I will merge with Mr. Ahmed afterwards as I conclude on this. So my next question will be to Ms. Elham Ebrahim Taleb. I've left Elham for the end because Elham is a supervisor within CBB, and the Central Bank of Bahrain are the patrons of this seminar. So in typical host fashion, I've left the host for last. We've heard earlier in one of the sessions also this issue of aggregators. There was a discussion on these aggregators. So my next question to Ms. Elham deals more on the aggregator side. So can Elham please elaborate on the regulation to date that CBB has been working on in terms of the authorization, regulation, streamlining of aggregators within the industry, please?
Assalamu alaikum, first of all. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, James, for moderating this session. Thanks for everyone who hosting us to this virtual forum. Glad to be a part of it. Thanks, James, for mentioning about the recent rules that has been issued by the CBB, which was, I can say, it was a first step towards the InsurTech and hosting or publishing new rules to take into consideration the technology, the digitalization issues that we are currently hearing and seeing and discussed and considered all away. So the CBB has recently, or last year particularly, has issued a rules related to aggregator. And aggregator, by its means, is that the insurance brokers would provide its service through a platform only, to provide all the prices, all the codes from different insurance companies to the customer, so the customer can see the most codes that it would suit them for different type of product, let's say. So we see that since other markets or other jurisdictions has already started such aggregators and licensed them, so we see that we have to take up an initiative to start looking at it, and we see that there is a need to address it in order to make sure that the system and the control, in case that aggregator would be licensed, is well regulated and are really an interest of the customer. So, so we make sure at that time that we have to issue our rules in a separate module in our rule book, actually, to make sure that the customer are receiving the expected services and the right information to make their decision to choose which product they wish to buy through that platform. There are many challenges. There are many things that has been considered during formalizing the rules. For example, the confidentiality and data privacy implication were governed through our rules, actually. For example, if the client is processed by, if the client data is processed by the tool using the cloud, we should make sure that the aggregators safeguard to avoid non-compliance with applicable data protection laws, for example. In addition, we make sure that the aggregator must establish the adequate internal control and maintain effective oversight and governance of the insurance aggregator process and the client interface, including establishing sound policies, procedures, system, methodologies, and control. These policies, we have to make sure that these policies has been implemented and comprehensive to cover at least controls, cover technology solutions, tools measure, prevent frauds and errors, risk management control, prevention of anti-money laundering, and safeguarding client money. So all of these aspects has been already considered in our rules to make sure that the licensees or the aggregator are considering it in order to provide a good product and informative data to the client whenever they get and access their system. Maybe I'm sure that someone would ask, do we have an aggregator right now? Yes, and I think we have received an applications before even publishing our rules. So at that time we think that there is a need to start and formalizing our rules. And we have currently maybe two aggregators, and maybe one or two is currently in the licensing stage with the CBB. So we can see more coming into the market from the aggregator license.
Thank you very much. Elham, just one question that lingers sometimes in the mind of some practitioners. From a regulation perspective, you felt the need to create the aggregators rulebook, which I think is a very good step in the right direction. But in the regulator's mindset, how different do you see the aggregator from the intermediary from a license perspective, from an agent, for example?
The aggregator would mainly provide their services through the platform, while the traditional brokers or the traditional intermediary, they can interact with the customer face-to-face, by telephone, or different other means other than the platform. So we should make sure that the customer, whenever wish to approach the aggregator, that they would be able to get all the information, all the advices, whatsoever information that they wish to have it, compared to having or sitting face-to-face with any brokers, traditional brokers, for example, or agent. So that's why we make sure that even the display of the platform or the website of that aggregator has to be in details to make sure that the customer would receive the higher information that he wished to have and the right advices in order to conclude his sales. for example, the data must be up to date. He must make sure, the aggregate must make sure that he's in up to date with his insurance firm, since he would represent the insurance firm to present the codes, that the data displayed in the platform is up to date, is accurate, include the right and accurate and detailed terms and conditions of each policy he wished to buy through that platform. So the policyholder then would get all the informative data he wished to have it while he's trying to conclude his sales through the platform, compared to a traditional way of getting the advices from the broker.
Thank you very much. Elham, very interesting. If I'm allowed to be a little bit nostalgic, I remember working on the rule books almost 20 years ago, when Bahrain was at the very forefront of coming out with new rule books within the region, which was truly groundbreaking at the time, and the involvement of the whole market. Other regions or other countries in the regions followed suit then. It's good to see that the markets have really progressed, and it's good to see that, again, Bahrain in this area of digital transformation, again, CBB are at the forefront, at least in one area, in terms of the aggregators. It's good to see that they are coming out with this area. The three of you mentioned, just one final question to whoever wants to pick this up. The three of you mentioned in one way or another, like Ahmed mentioning the importance of technology skills for the people involved in the area. Ms. Almenhali also mentioned the importance of improving the skills of people in IT departments. And this came out also in the last bit of Elham also, the importance of knowledge. So what does any one of you want to pick up the question of what skills do you see that the market needs or the regulators need? What skills can institutes like BIBF or other training institutions in the region pick up in order to assist regulators or the market in this respect?
If you allow me.
Okay, Ahmed, please.
No, go ahead, please. It's okay.
Okay. I think, James, this is an important subject. The digitalization and the technology now coming, and I think we need to make sure that those people who will hold a control function in the insurance companies are having the right qualification, are having the right competency in order to present their product or their services to the market, especially for the department where the people or the head of that department would hold the technology or taking the decision making of that in that aspect. So as recently we have issued a CBB, I mean, when the CBB has recently issued its training and competency module and rules. So it's make sure that the companies, whenever they wish to appoint a control function, that they should seek CBB approval, and that person has to be fit and proper and should have all the qualification experience required for such. So, and even we have make sure that there should be a continuous professional development training, CPD, for all control functions, holding that function. So the decision maker of the licensees has to have all that skills, all that information, training related to technology whenever they would be involved in such decisions. So they can get the training through different ways, through job learning, individual study, other methods of getting courses, even attending conferences and getting a specialized as well, specialized qualification in technology and in IT, for example. So all of this has to be considered whenever the company is wishing to appoint a control function to hold such positions.
Thank you. Ahmed?
I think she gives a comprehensive reply. What I can add to it is that um, uh, it is important to put this digital transformations and the prerequisites for that on the all the companies and regulatory body strategies. It should be top priorities. If if we see it on the companies and regulatory bodies strategies and one of their top priorities goals, that means the resources is going to be provided for human resources and for the IT itself. The challenge that we have seen now, many private sectors, companies, many companies or insurer, and many maybe regulatory body, they do believe they can only buy this new technology. And by acquiring this new technology of buying it, that's mean they did this kind of transformation. I do believe this is much more than that buying new technology. Yeah, no doubt you can buy it and it could be easier and quicker, but it's many things. Something it's about the processing itself that need to be re-engineered within your institution. It's about the culture. It's really a cultural change because many things is need to be changed. It's disruption, huge disruption to the industry. The technological disruption usually you can't realize it. It need time till you discover, oh my God, many things has been changed. And that's what's happening. And as a regulatory body, I think we need to keep it in our mind. It's a top priority. It needs huge resources. It needs totally different techniques. I mean, sometimes maybe you cannot depend only on MIS student to do that management information system. It needs different IT science and technology to be able to reach area like artificial intelligence, like fintech blockchains. So things is need huge investment, clear roadmap, and it cannot be done only by the insurance regulatory body. In fact, it's need a high level support from the government where we can motivate the financial industry, part of it is insurance, to enhance the innovation and digital transformation.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'm conscious also of the time, so I'd like to thank Ahmed, Elham, and Hamda for your very valuable contributions today. And I'm conscious also that there are a couple of questions. Maybe we can answer these offline with the help of BIBF. And I'll pass the line over back to Ms. Amal.